Hello everyone, I hope you are well. And who am I? I am Brenda, a business student who today will talk about impacts of globalization in culture. To begin, the world is composed of large geographical, political, and cultural divisions. It is now possible for two people to maintain real-time communication. It is possible to get to a city overnight just by taking a plane, as well as product produced in Asia can be exported to America on a daily basis. All this process seem very common today, thanks to the process of globalization that we have experienced in recent decades. This is a dynamic process that is made of increasing interdependence among the countries of the world. Globalization can mainly be seen as an economic phenomenon that in recent decades has undergone a number of relevant changes, but this time we will focus on its relationship with culture. Today's world is a huge cultural cocktail from values, from beliefs, from institutions, from languages, from nations or identities that coexist or at least coexist without clear borders between them. Globalization has enabled the internalization of multiple cultures around the world. Each country has contributed some of its art, gastronomy, literature, idioms, etc. to another nation in order to make their identity known and also as a way to encourage the country's industries, such as tourism. Cultural globalization is a process of assimilation of the different cultures of the world in order to generate what is more homogeneous and common culture. This affects the existing cultural diversity in a positive but also a negative way. Technological development in communication has been an important factor for this kind of globalization to occur in its entirety. It is through communication that culture exchange is possible almost immediately. But now let's talk about the negative part of this process. National identity is also affected by the process of globalization, which accentuates and accelerates processes of social change with mass media, such as cable television, satellite, internet, and others. From this point of view, these media are responsible for promoting misguided stereotypes in today's youth and for inducing values and practices that make identity development difficult. Consumerism and other selfish practices are promoted every day, which only negatively affect the identity of the people and therefore of the nation. That is why media influence should be seen as a problematic factor in building a country's national identity. I practically mean that with the process of globalization, the identity of countries deteriorates. Although the discourse of globalization is presented as an unifying of economies, markets, borders, among others, in reality, there are different situations in which xenophobia and social discrimination increase. The new cultural landscape, mediated by the electronic media, builds a scenario that breaks the relationship with the past. People live a perpetual present. Memory and history live to be heritage. In addition, countercultures are being generated in groups excluded or marginalized from the process, which will likely conflict with those of the non-excluded, in a dangerous and conflictive coexistence. At the same time and space of groups with divergent values and senses of life, as can be seen in many of the current criminal forms of the struggle of the poor against to
to pull.
To conclude, globalization is a phenomenal experience throughout the world. There are discomforts and dissatisfactions in both poor and rich countries. We must make the most of the benefits of cultural globalization, which brings people closer to and enriches them, and which represent a great opportunity to raise the standards of living of communities.